Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Dark Souls 3. So, as you might have noticed, I got a new gesture and the silver serpent is below my stats. Therefore, I have been to the top of Firelink Shrine because I was experimenting slightly while I was in between parts. I'm now also level 20 now. I went back to Lothric, got this new Lothric armor. I have the Claymore now, and just been training various things. I also found out that the tree jump glitch, where in which you slightly run up this tree and jump onto here. Oh, almost got it there. It works a lot better if you take your armor off. Nope, too far. Did it again. But anyways. Ah, oh, nearly had it there. Anyways, if you jump off this tree, you can land onto this section of the roof and then roam around on the roof and interact with the crows that are up there, instead of paying 20 grand for the tower key. And I got the iron bracers out of it. So, before we head towards the Undead Settlement, let's take a look at a few things, shall we? First, the Lothric Knight Armor. Armor of a celebrated Lothric Knight. The coat distinctly is all but fallen apart. The knight has served as one of the three pillars since ancient times, and shares a place alongside the wyverns and as a symbol of Lothric. Only those possessing the knight's resolve are fit to wear this garment. Resolve being that this thing is actually quite heavy, and only supplies slightly better defenses than the knight's armor actually, but has a nice cloak, so I like to wear it over the knight's armor. And then we have the Claymore. An unusually large and heavy greatsword, normally wielded with two hands. This highly versatile weapon can be swung broadly or thrusted. It is one of my favorite weapons because it is very close to the Dark Souls 1 moveset, where you have nice cross swings, a good thrust that can be charged in this game, and then the two-handed, you have a set of overheads and then a huge stab, which is actually different from Dark Souls 1 moveset and actually makes it better. Let's see what else. There's the covetous silver serpent ring. A silver ring depicting a snake that could have been, but never was, a dragon. Fallen foes yield more souls. Snakes are known as creatures of great avarice, devouring prey even larger than themselves by swallowing them whole. If one's shackles are cause for discontent, perhaps it is time for some old-fashioned greed. So, the covetous silver serpent ring is one of the most useful rings in the game because it just gives you more souls. from enemies, bosses. It does not extend to sold items. That would have been cool, but it doesn't. And then finally, Vort's Soul. Soul of Vort of the Boreal Valley, one of the twisted souls steeped in strength, used to acquire many souls or transpose to extract its true strength. Vort served as an outrider knight, never far from the fleeting dancer. So that gives a hint as to what a boss nearby might be. Alright, so let's go to Vort's and hold up the banner. There's a couple other things that I noticed and wanted to mention. One of which is something around the banner that I recently had explained to me and thought quite interesting. So load in here. So, number one, this hairstyle I thought was just, hey, that's just an interesting hairstyle they put into the game, until I thought about it, and this is actually the hairstyle of, god damn it, why am I always forgetting her name? Farnese from Berserk. So, just another Berserk reference. Isn't Dark Souls great? Speaking of Berserk, get ready for the area that's just Berserk condensed into one zone. So let's raise this banner. So, the demons from Anor Londo are back, and they are here to bring me to a new zone. So, what I didn't notice is that on the banner, there is the golden circle, which is the same circle that you touch at the top of Sens to gain access to Anor Londo, also being transported by those demons. So, this area, I think I said in the first time, oh wow, I didn't even notice from here. This is Berserk. This is, I'm trying to think of a chapter in Berserk that has a village that kind of looks like this. I guess the closest would be, the one in which, at the very beginning of the original Golden Arc, from the original anime, where Guts is hunting the Serpent King guy. I don't know. I can't remember his name. It's been a long time since I've looked at that. But there are crows everywhere, and there's more stuff further on. We can also see a tower with a giant archer man. I wonder if that will come into play. So then we get to this gate, and the gate opens. And they let the dogs kill all the hollows. So, the fire sword trivializes these dogs quite well. And it's interesting those dogs were actually looking at an alluring skull.
Please, grant me death. Undo my shackles. Oh. Oh, then it's true. a champion of Ash as I live and breathe. To be in your presence is a great honor. I am Yol of Londor, a pilgrim, as you can see, only somehow I failed to die as was ordained. Well, perhaps my calling lies elsewhere. Say, champion of Ash, how does the idea of taking me into your service strike you? I was once a sorcerer. Surely I can be of use.
Of course, Yul.
I am honored, truly. I should be dead, yet you have granted me purpose anew. I, Yol of Londor, do solemnly swear myself to you.
Hi, Yul. Now, what I find interesting about Yul's voice is that the way that he says, just the tonality of his voice implies that maybe he was, like, not so much destined as all other pilgrims to supposed to die there, but more of was sent there on a different mission, possibly to wait for you. So then, of course, we have these boys, who very much remind me I'd say much more Bloodborne than of Berserk. But then we get into this. This, I am pretty sure, is just pulled right out of a panel. With the hanging bodies, the guys pinned to spinning wheels. Because, well, hanging bodies are everywhere. Like, we find guts underneath a hanging tree. The guys pinned to spinning wheels is from the Church Saga. And so on and so forth. So, I do enjoy this area, but it's just very much, we get it, Miyazaki and From Software staff. You guys really like it. That guy was through the floor. Now he's above the floor. We get it, guys. You guys really like Berserk. We do too, evidently. That's why we've been putting it up for. Putting up with it for, what? 3, 4 games? 5 games, I suppose, at this point. Including Bloodborne and Demons. Like, if we were getting tired of it, we would be moving to a different series. Uh-oh, it seems the Lady Loretta that Grey Rat is searching for seems to be gone now. Hell, in fact, these little guys with Grey Rat's hat on them are even references to the Church Saga with the minions of Mozgus. There's little guys who run around with black hats similar to them. And speaking of Mozgus, got knives? I do. Good. Here we go. There's a character who looks nearly identical to Mozgus, with the big wide hat, and even the spell powers. What would have been a little more truth of the matter is if they were using holy powers instead of dark and pyromancy. But they actually have a pretty cool moveset with the ability to throw out projectiles and then essentially do a command grab. I wish that spell was honestly in the game, to be fair. And this is the area where it really gets nuts, where a lot of these enemies are weak to fire. So, using a fire weapon. Ah, damn, I wanted to go for 4 in a row. Another Estus shard. Good. Soul. But yeah, like this tree is more or less the tree that you... There's an item on a guy up there. I have never seen that. Wow, that surprises me. I have never seen that. Let me pull him down. What is on you, friend? Interesting. Could even that be a Berserk reference? Now I'm stretching. But my point is that this entire area is very much just, alright Miyazaki, get as much as your Berserk, as many Berserk references as you can out in this so we can focus on referencing the other games in the rest of the areas. Which I guess could be a decent jumping off point, is talking about the 2016 Berserk anime, which a lot of people have, like, there's a lot of back and forth on, hey, what the hell happened? This isn't the Berserk I thought it was going to be, and a lot of people are angry because it's around one of the better chapters, which is the Church Saga, which I really like. I remember reading it for the first time. It was actually the first time. It was when I had started actually just reading it. Also, these enemies. These are great, because they don't aggro until you get perfectly near them, and they are fantastic at jump scaring you when you don't know they're there. So anyways, Berserk 2016. I did not watch it as it came out syndicated and stuff like that. I watched it post haste, mostly through online YouTube stuff of clips showcasing various moments from the show. Pause for a second. Here's the Warrior of Sunlight Covenant. I'll be putting that on instead. Pledge oneself to the Warrior of Sunlight. An ancient talisman depicting a holy symbol bestowed upon the Warriors of Sunlight, equipped to pledge oneself to the Warrior of Sunlight Covenant. The Warriors of Sunlight are brilliant beaming cooperators who place their golden signatures to help those in need, and for it is their duty to deliver a great conquest to their summoner. Anyways, so I didn't watch like episode by episode. I was watching more chunks, just like, hey, what does the Guts versus Mozgus fight look like? What does this look like? What does that look like? What is their variant of various things? On a whole, I think it's actually not bad. Now, visually, which one would I prefer? Well, of course I prefer the original, doing it in the original style. Like, I think the original, older style looks great, but that's really expensive because you're having people draw a lot of that instead of, and you're working with a lot of 2D drawn animation over 3D manipulated models and whatnot. The Blu-rays seem to fix that a lot more, where there's a little less noticeable problem to the models and stuff like that. Everybody's design looks good. I think they did a fantastic job on getting Mozgus and his villains look right. Guts sounds pretty good. Puck looks good. Isidro looks good. Farnese and Serpico look fine. And of course, I am fervently in the camp of Cascagate, which is the problem of, for some reason, in this version, they just made Casca's complexion a lot whiter. Like, now there are certain scenes that are lit by a moonlight that causes everything to appear that color. While this is true, there are way too many sequences where Casca is way too pale. There was no reason to do so, because they have a template of what she's supposed to look like from the first animated series and the CG films and everything else. So why she was the color that she was, I have no idea. God damn. So, I also have to say that while there are some really good sound pieces to a lot of the fights, and Guts, when he fights, does sound really cool, if you don't know it, please go look up, and I may even link it, the various Clang compilations of, there is one sound effect in Berserk 2016 that is ridiculous. It sounds like the Foley artist was banging like a metal pot and pan like together or something like that. It is ridiculous. Also, our giant friend is now shooting arrows down. So they decided they wanted to bring back Hawkeye Gaw, or I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. Like, I always go Gaw. I like pronouncing it Goth. I know there's no TH in the word. It's Gough. So, Hawkeye Go, I suppose. So they just brought him back in a different form. And he's defending more importantly than killing all these dudes, he is defending the tree. Not so much attacking people, but attacking anyone who comes near the tree. Yet as I say that, he just fired an arrow at me. even though I was nowhere near where the tree was. So, anyways. Yeah, just the clang of Guts' sword is inconsistently really good and really cool, but then other times just fucking hilariously bad. What else? The music is really good. I actually listen to a lot of the pieces every now and again. The composer did a really good job of putting the soundtrack together. I think one of my favorite pieces is Guts' theme, which is called Ash Crow. Now, there are some other pieces to it that I'm not big on. For example, I don't like the new version of Forces, mainly because I'm also not big on any other version of Forces besides the original. Like, I don't even find the God Hand remix of Forces all that good. So there's that. Down here. In here. And there's a lot of pieces from the original that I like a lot more than some of the new stuff. But on a whole, it's pretty good. I'm trying to think of when Berserk Muso comes out in the West, finally. Because that is something I would like to showcase and play off. Because I find Muso gameplay entertaining. Because it's essentially just hack through the dudes. And I've always wanted to play a Muso game, at least with characters that I enjoy. So I think that would be really cool. I think, yeah, that's got to come out really soon. So definitely look towards that. And that seems to cover everything that happens in the show and a little bit extra, I think. So that's going to be cool. Anyways, let's meet our pyromancer for the game.
Aha, unkindled, are we? Welcome to my abode. I am Cornix, an old pyromancer. A crow in his cage, as you see now. But here we are, an encounter for the ages. I hear the unkindled make for fine vessels. Care to learn some pyromancies from this old man? Ah, most wise. A chance encounter should not be squandered. To reiterate, I am Cornix of the Great Swamp. The pleasure is mine.
So once again, we come across a pyromancer that has a slight amount of humor to him. Similar to that of... Or, well, I don't know about humor, but... sort of hope for the world in that he knows that he can't do all that much to assist, except for maybe helping out the chosen hero of the game. Rubbish. Good day, sir. The fire clutch ring. I think that might actually be quite useful. Ah, good. For a fire sword, that will be just dandy. anyways, so on a whole, I think Berserk 2016 was actually pretty good. And it seems the Blu-ray version of it improved upon a bunch of problems people had with the look of the character models and stuff like that. And there's also a certain factor of any new Berserk is good Berserk kind of thing. Bad doggo. Stop. Now you're dead. Because Mira takes so goddamn long to make his stuff. Of course, the next chapter is what's really interesting. Because the next stuff, well, it ends, the current season ended with, seeing Griffith return with Zod. So the next stuff with the new Ascended version of Griffith is actually quite interesting and is some of the best stuff in that section. What I would call the pre-boat section of Berserk. So I do hope that they do more, because there's no reason not to do more, I would say. Because it's good, and there's no reason not to continue doing it. Berserk is probably one of the best anime series of all time.